Alrighty. So this is part two of how to generate content ideas for digital marketing and branding purposes. Of course, Rubio, last time we talked, I had told you to go ahead and use the Google Keyword Planner to sort of scout out and to see what keywords or what things stood out in terms of, like, you know, what keywords people were paying for, what people were looking for, understanding how to use the numbers regarding, you know, the page bids, as well as the search volume and the competition, to understand the intent and the context of each search, and how you can make inferences based off those numbers in order to really amplify and understand what kind of content ideas were good to shoot for in order to rank on social media, on search engines, and you know, ultimately just, you know, these are just tactics to put you in front of, you know, the in front of your audience. So from there, we got 20 keywords that you've selected from the Google Keyword Planner based off your better judgment. I'm assuming these are the best keywords that you could find. Could you tell me a little bit more about your process? From what you learned yesterday working with me, what led you to come up with these key phrases here on the screen?
So I really looked at three things. So the first thing I looked for was search volume. So if it was like 1 through 100 or 1 through 1,000, I tend to look at that first. And then the second thing I looked at was competition. So if it was low, medium, or high, that's also how I kind of helped determine which keywords I would pick. And then the last thing I looked at was the actual keywords themselves. So seeing how relevant they were to our digital marketing agency. So the keywords that I ended up picking were the ones that we specialize in and that had good competition and also had a good amount of search volume.
Yeah, awesome. So you did take account into the competition, to the search volume ratio, as well as the page bid numbers in order to determine whether or not the intent or the context of the search, you know, was a clear indicator of the quality of the lead as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So as long as you're keeping that in mind and understanding, you know, where users are at within the buyer journey or within their searches for information as they go through the educational phase of the what is it, a traditional inbound marketing strategy, then you can't go wrong, because it's all, like, you know, like I said, you have to follow the certain rules of digital marketing in order to, you know, effectively pull off most of these types of projects. So what we're going to do now is move on to the next phase of generating content ideas using keywords. And this is a tactic that I personally personally use all the time. It's kind of like second nature to me now, because it's usually, I kind of just know the best practices after you repeat something so many times. Like I said, momentum-based branding is all about speed. The faster you can get something out. Growth-driven design is similar in the same way, but it's like, you have to repeat the process so many times, and quantity, like I said yesterday in our last video, is that you want to continue to do it no matter what or how perfect it is, because quality ultimately will come through the repetition of doing a single action. You don't become the best fighting, like, now I'm wearing a Tekken jacket right now. I'm just saying, you don't become the best fighter in the world by, not fighting, right? So, you don't become the best Tekken player in the world by not fighting. So, that you have to do it in order to build the self-efficacy that you need to become proficient and efficient in the process. So with these keywords, we're going to move into the next phase. And usually I can come up with ideas straight off the top of my head, and I can tell you if it will rank and what if not, just from the top of my head. But based off your keywords, I'm going to tell you what you need to do in order to determine the angle of which you should frame your stories. And this is based off of what people are actually searching for on Google and what's actually ranking on Google. So let me ask you a question. What do you think this tactic is?
What do I think the tactic is?
Yeah.
Like
What
to
would you
see
do
what's.
keywords next in order
Mm,
to see what could possibly rank or what people are actually searching for?
are you just actually gonna search these on Google?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what your competitors are doing. Competitive
Mhm.
research is essentially, you know, no, wrong thing. That was not what I was trying to copy and paste. So here we go. Best SEO marketing strategy. We have tons of PPC ads, which means that people are paying for that keyword. Whether it's exact keyword, a relational keyword, or or just a general keyword phrase. How to create an SEO strategy for 2020, template included. The best search engine marketing strategies explained. So SEO marketing strategy, 8 components of a successful SEO. Dot dot dot. So yeah, see this person right here, they have a good trust score, but they're not utilizing a meta description. So I would make note of that. So like if you know anyone who knows SEO knows that meta descriptions are like a sure way to get on Google's good side and to boost your scores up even more and make it easier for you to be discovered on Google, as well as provide your user with more context to what the content they can expect to see once they click through your link. So make note, number 3 is not utilizing meta descriptions. This one is utilizing, if there see any of these that end with an ellipsis, no meta description. So 3, 5, no meta description, 6, no meta description, 8, no meta description, 10, no meta description, and then we got more ads at the bottom. Okay, so automatically you can say like, oh wow, why would Moz not be using meta descriptions? Well, obviously Moz is pretty big in the SEO world, so they think that they probably can do whatever the hell they want. Frankly, yeah, they are pretty big. They're big dogs when it comes to SEO. But right now, we're gonna focus on this is the front page of Google for those for this keyword. So based off what other people, the content that other people are producing, what kind of ideas would you could say that you can come up with based off what everyone else is doing here? 8 components of a successful SEO, how to create an SEO strategy in 2020, 10 effect, what are any trends or patterns that you see? 10 effective SEO techniques to drive traffic in 2020. What are some trends that stand out to you amongst these titles?
The common theme is like building your own marketing strategy. So some links provide like others provide resources, but the main idea is like building your own SEO strategy.
Are there any other buzzwords that stick out to you?
2020, keeping it modern, planning, um, strategy.
Okay, but on the 2020 note, what's something that, okay, so we're coming upon end of the year, right? So
Mhm.
2020 is not gonna always remain relevant right now. So what is something that we can do for this keyword in order
Mhm.
to become more relevant in this regard? What what, how could we frame this?
You could position it for 2021, like for the
Exactly.
following year.
They said it start like the SEO, like top SEO strategies you need for a strong start in 2021, right?
Hmm.
So turning that 2020 into 2021 is going to do wonders, right? Because it's going to
Hmm.
make things more relevant to the time. People are going to see 2021. Think about it. Everyone wants the new iPhone 12. Nobody's thinking about the iPhone X anymore. Nobody's thinking about
Right.
the iPhone 11. Everyone wants the 12, right? Think about the next gen, right? The next gen is 2021. So talk about next gen SEO strategies. Like, what is it? Like, so what's it thinking about this? So the keyword here is best SEO marketing strategy, and say, so in order to make this unique, I like the idea of next gen, right? So let's say, so what if we put it to have it say next generation SEO colon strategy, like your must know strategies for the new year. Your must know SEO strategies for the new year.
Right.
Right? So we'll go back here. The title for this one would be bam. There's your angle. There's your story. That's your frame. And that is what you're going to publish in your next piece of content. So another place that we're going to look and utilize this keyword is what's the #1 search engine on the planet?
Besides Google?
No, this is the #1 search engine on the planet. Google is not the #1 search engine on the planet.
Oh, YouTube?
That was a trick question. Yes, YouTube.
Oh, nice.
So now we see we have top dogs: Neil Patel, Brian Dean, Matt Diggity. So with this, the strategy is a little bit different, right? We see what's on the first page. We can see who has a meta description, who don't have meta descriptions. We understand brand names versus non-brand names. We can identify trends. We can identify trends and do all that here too. However, what the key difference here is that we can tell how many views and subscribers and how recent, well, we can do that on Google too, but we can see how recent they posted these videos as well. So if you want to get the #1 spot, it's gonna be harder to compete with someone who has a whole lot of subscribers, right? So typically trying to knock, this one's got 1.6 million views. Neil Patel's pretty big top dog when it comes to anything, pretty much anything digital marketing. It's pretty hard to knock him out. So trying to take on his keyword or his angle or his title and try and knock him down off this list is going to be pretty tough to do. But there might be somebody else on this list that might not be hard to knock down. So let's think about this. Who here would have, man, Gary Vee's all the way down here? I would expect him to be higher up. See, but a lot of these are really old though. And see, that means they're old. That means they're outdated. And outdated content is bad content, especially in digital marketing. So like, see, and this guy, he utilized the same strategy we did, link building, how to get powerful backlinks in 2020. This was published 2 years ago. What's that tell you? He published this in 2019. He used the same strategy that I just proposed earlier to land on the front page in 2020. So that's a key indicator that we're on the right track here, utilizing that strategy to really make it work. But this guy here, local SEO in 2020, how to rank #1 in 4 simple steps.
Okay, so this year we were finally.
This was published in 2019, at the very end of the turn of the year last year. It's only got 23,000 views, but he's got 40,000 subscribers. Given we do not have that many subscribers or nearly as many views, but our YouTube channel is still young and we have not been doing as much, but doesn't mean that we don't stand a chance against these big dogs. Up here, well, I'm actually pretty surprised Neil Patel's, this video has only got 83,000 views in 1 year. This guy seems to be doing, Ryan Dean seems to be doing a lot better in 7 months. He's continued to build on that content strategy, that content pillar that he created from that first video 2 years ago. And he's building on it. And basically just building out the pillar and making it more valuable over time, which is building on that 2020 keyword. And that's what they talk about that in what is it called? They talk about that when you call trading up the chain, and it's a media manipulation tactic that involves is a media manipulation tactic that involves the repeated application of a recursive procedure or a definition. So recursive is another word for recurrence or repetition. So trading up the chain is a strategy that manipulates the media through recursion. So you want to manipulate the perception or the public's perception, turn the obscure and turn something obscure into something popular on the web. And you do that by creating small pieces, repeated pieces. And that's why I said content is, quality is quality comes with time as long as content is repeated, repurpose, reposition, redistribute. And this guy's obviously doing something right. And if he's, on multiple videos, Neil Patel is even falling, behind him in views at some top points, because this guy's got, 44,000 views in 7 months. This guy's Neil Patel's got 83,000 in 1 year, and that's a close gap in terms of who's gonna cross over and have more views in that year. She's got 23,000 views in 1 month. That's something to take note of quite easily. See how many subscribers she has.
YouTube ads beat
40,000 subscribers. So there's a lot of game to be had on here. So anyways, how to rank YouTube videos, how to drive traffic to stores, what is SEO, how does it work, 7 steps. So marketing strategies don't focus solely on rankings. True, don't focus solely on rankings. You want quality content that's relevant to the searcher. Google wants contextual-based keyword research. They want you to use contextual-based keywords in order to identify the intent of every searcher that you're targeting, so that way the content is most relevant to the person that inputs the search. How SEO in 21, how to rank #1 on Google. This guy's already on it. This produced 2 weeks ago, 13,000 views. This is the guy we're after.
How are you going to succeed in search engine?
So got 40,000 subscribers, but this guy's got, but typically, so we do a little bit of competitive research. I think we found the guy that we're going to try to knock down. All right, so what you're going to do from this point forward, of course, watch his video, scope it out, see how he positions his content, be critical of it, because you want to make sure whatever he's saying, you want to fact check and make sure that, oh, well, that's true. That's bullshit. Maybe there's some things that I didn't know that I can draw on to amplify my own research. And then, take from it what you will, but then when you go back and create your own post or your own video, you can, do something fresh that's going to easily provide more value in this regard. So this is the guy, how to rank #1 in Google. We're not necessarily talking about rankings. We're talking about, best SEO tactics. And SEO is not always about ranking #1 on Google. It's just about becoming more discoverable. And that means, building your trust and domain score and building good reputation for Google, so that way your organic traffic is more or less. You're not always, the goal shouldn't always just to be on the front page, but it's to allow Google to show you to more people. And you're not going to do that by always, searching to rank the best and focusing on the keywords. It's also about the compellingness and the relevance of the content and of the context of the content. It has to be relevant to the context and intent of the searcher. So anyways, I think I understand where to go from here. So what do you think about this content idea? Do you think the next gen SEO, your must know strategies for 2021, is this a good angle to go for a piece of content?
I think so.
Okay, so what piece of content would you think it's better as a blog or a video, or both?
It could be both, honestly.
It can also be a topic for a podcast.
Right.
Cool. So that would be essentially the process that you would go through in terms of determining what your angle is, what your angle is, how it will measure up in terms of competition, in terms of first page rankings on YouTube and Google. And you do that by searching your keyword after doing your keyword research based off what's being paid for in the page bid, based off the competition and the search volume, and determining the quality and the intent of the user based off the context of their search. Then you would go to the first, to go to the search engines and search the keyword, and then identify trends on Google and YouTube regarding many different factors. If it's on Google, it's basic SEO. What's the keyword? Where are the meta descriptions? What's their trust and domain scores? If you haven't downloaded it yet, make sure you download the. So I think I have it on mine, so where I can see, I have the tool where you can see the domain and trust score and everything. It's my SEO Quake toolbar here. I also have the Moz bar, so that way I can analyze the SEO on the fly as I go. Make sure you download those if you're doing any sort of SEO work, so that way it helps you with your competitive research. Identify trends based off the metrics, always look at the numbers. And then on YouTube, look for subscriber count, look for view counts, and then look for identify trends that are similar to the trends that you've identified on Google or any other, Google Keyword Planner, any other software that you're using to do competitive based repeat research. We obviously can take this into a next phase if we're going to go even deeper into competitive based research and then actually target those PPC ads that we see right here on the top of these pages. And then we go after those actual domains and then search and discover their entire PPC strategies. That would be their next phase, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But as of now, first, you would just move to Google, search your keyword, identify any trends, meta descriptions, focus key phrases, trust, domain score, and determine which content would be easier to de-rank and put yours up front center. As long as the content stays compelling and relevant to the searcher, then it's good. On YouTube, do the same thing, but taking account subscriber count, view count, and how long the video has been on there. The longer the content has been up, the less relevant it is. So therefore, it's easier to knock off. Even if they're a big dog, it's going to be easier to knock off because they're pretty much just not relevant anymore. Google and YouTube are one of the same, two sides of the same coin. Google is not going to determine that they're relevant anymore, and they're going to be knocked off because their work is going to be outdated. Anything with the 2020 is going to be out of here come next year. 2021 is where it's at, so keeping it focused on the next gen techniques is going to be very important. So anyways, key takeaways from this lecture. What were some key takeaways from this process that I showed you, Rubio, that stood out to you?
Well, basically, instead of just taking a shot in the dark and guessing what topics to make content over, you can take a more strategic approach. So like look at the keywords, see how they're performing, and then see who's using these keywords and how you can compete with them.
Mm-hmm. And what is it? Anything specifically in terms of, was there anything that surprised you in terms of like, anything you didn't know previously that you know now?
Well, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, but actually just searching the keywords in Google, and you can see firsthand what's trending. And you can analyze the themes and go from there to see if your keyword is relevant or not. So.
Right, exactly. And then on YouTube, what were some things in YouTube that you found interesting to see?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing was, like you said, looking for your competition and see who you can knock off. So we found that one content creator, we see he has a good amount of subscribers, but the content is really new and we still have a chance to like surpass them. So I think just keeping an eye on your competition and seeing who you can come for is a good idea.
Right, exactly. But also taking content of how long the content's been there. So the longer it's been on, the less relevant it is. So that's why, you see um, like a video by Neil Patel that's, like 2 years old or whatever. Like that one guy has a 2-year-old video, but he's been making videos related to that video ever since. And that's why his view count is, on pace to surpass even Neil Patel, because Neil Patel is his content is just so old. It's just been on there for so long. He might be a big name and have a lot of subscribers, and that's probably why he's still on the front page of YouTube, but he's easily surpassable because he's not updating or creating content as regularly as he should. That's why consistency with content is key. You want to continuously create content, repurpose, reposition, redistribute. Always create content. And the thing is like they are always going to say quality versus quantity, and there is no such thing. You want to be producing constantly, and every single content you make, a piece you make, needs to build on the value of the last one. That's why it's called a momentum-based strategy, because quality is the long-term goal. Quality is the end game. Quantity is what's going to get you there. So if you want to really build quality content, and I mean, you can strive for quality as you're building quantity, but the thing is, you're only going to do that through the repetition, through recursion, through recursive techniques. And recursion is the basis of media manipulation. If you can manipulate the media, you can control the perceptions of the public. Who controls, as Ryan Holiday quoted in his book, what is it? Those that control the media control public opinion. So go forth and create content, because that is the ultimate, and do it in abundance, because that's the way you're going to ultimately achieve your goal of becoming the brand authority you want to be in 2021. So for your next assignment, Rubio, I want you to go ahead and with these keywords, I want you to go ahead and do the techniques I just showed you. Search it on Google, search it on YouTube, go through, use your better judgment based off of the keywords, understanding who the brands are or their position on the first page, which ones are utilizing meta descriptions, which ones aren't. And make sure I have a SEO toolbox I can give to you that you could use. I can make it available to you, so that way you can have all the tools you need to build a compelling SEO strategy, as well as have all the numbers on Google. Like as you can see, I can see all the domain and trust scores for all of the websites. I'll go ahead and give you that toolbox, and I want you to go ahead and I want you to create headlines or story ideas and give an angle to every single one of these keywords for the piece of content that we're going to create for them. And then I want you to also list out what types of content we can use to create for it. Of course, we can create a blog, video, and podcast for each, ideally, but if it's better positioned for a video, you can maybe bold where you think it'll perform the best at. I think personally, for us, we have a lot of potential with the video. I think we have potential for all of them, but highlight whichever you think it will perform best at, in bold, and then we'll analyze this tomorrow or next week on Monday when we get back, and we'll go move into the next phase of our competitor-based research before we put this content to pre-production. Cool.
Sounds good.
Alrighty then. Well then, that will be it. That will be it for this session. What is it? Do you have any questions before we log off?
No, I think I'm good.
Awesome. All right. Well, anyways, just remember the key takeaways from this should be: search your key terms on Google, search them on YouTube, identify trends, utilize, understand the trust and domain score, figure out who's using meta descriptions, who is not, who's properly using a focus keyword. Understanding the angles of the blog posts themselves, what trends are not being used. Like consider what trends are not being used and what trends are being used. Like I said, like on Google, they're all using 2020. Nobody on Google is saying 2021. We saw that on YouTube though, but not on not on what is it? Not on Google though. So that gives us a good opportunity to really bring 2021 into the fold for SEO on Google, right? Video probably have a little bit harder time doing that there. And then we're barely about to start into the podcast game, coming in really shortly. Hopefully launch our podcast in 2021 with rising expectations, but I'm feeling really good about this. So go through with that, understand how many subscribers people have, how many views they have, how long the content's been up, and then, you know, determine what angle you can go that would be most relevant to the content and search, and then build a reputation with Google. So
cool.
Alrighty. Well, those are the next steps. If you don't have any questions, that will be it for this session, and we will get to work.
Sweet.
Alrighty then. Take care, Rubio.
All right, you too.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
That is